Taffel Railway line. When the coal comes down the Cardiff, I'll be there. When the coal comes down the Cardiff on the Taffel Railway line, with my little pick and shovel, I'll be there. Well, I'll be there, I'll be there. With my little pick and shovel, I'll be there. I'll be there, I'll be there. And when the coal comes down the Cardiff, I'll be there. When the coal comes from the Rhondda down the Taffel Railway line, when the coal comes from the Rhondda, I'll be there. Or when the coal comes from the Rhondda down the Taffel Railway line, with my little pick and shovel, I'll be there. I'll be there, I'll be there. And with my little pick and shovel, I'll be there. I'll be there, I'll be there. Or with my little pick and shovel, I'll be there.
Welcome to the Central Stand. All right, lads and lasses, welcome back to the Central Stand, the heartbeat of every single Cardiff City fan. The moment has landed, the fixtures dropped like fireworks, cup draws are out, pre-season knocking on the door, and that fresh season buzz. It's cracking through the city. It's that max of excitement, nerves and hope, the glue that keeps us coming back season after season. Jamie Anderson here, a true Bluebird, a fan through and through, ready to rip these fixtures apart and talk all things City. So, Jamie, how are you feeling, buddy?
Good, mate. It's finally nice to put plans into place now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We saw, credit to one of the Twitter pages, City fans. I think he or she, whomever it may be, had tweeted now before the fixtures came out, and it was identical, to be fair. So, yeah, some, let's say, less familiar fixtures to what we're used to, Dan.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's a cause for excitement, I suppose, for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, great stuff, mate. So, yeah, are you ready to jump in it? Are you excited, Jim? Are you excited? Because I'm excited.
Crack on.
Right then.
Crack
So,
on.
pre-season, the foundations of a dream. Pre-season's where it all starts, the blood, the sweat, and the chatter that gets us ready. It's messy, it's exciting, and it's the blueprint for what is to become. We've got 6 games lined up, some sunshine in Spain, some grit back home, and plenty of chances for the kids and new faces to scream, I'm ready. So here's the rundown. Wednesday, the 9th of July, we got Joa Daryl Tasm, I can never pronounce that, in Spain. Saturday, the 12th of July, Southern United in Spain. Tuesday, the 15th of July, Yeovil Town, Hewish Park. Friday, the 18th of July, Cambridge United behind closed doors. Wednesday, the 23rd of July, QPR behind closed doors. And Saturday, the 26th of July, Notts County, Meadow Lane. Pre-season, that tricky tightrope between fitness, tactics, and there's early fan cheers that make you think maybe this year's different. Jamie, what do you want to see in this run? How much does pre-season really tell us about the season ahead?
Pre-season probably says nothing apart from new faces, possible ways of playing. There's a fine line, isn't there, between playing too many games and not playing enough, which sounds daft, but you don't want to pick up these pointless injuries going into a season. They're not everyone's, it's not going to light everyone's world up, is it, when it comes to who we're playing and stuff? But ultimately, who we are playing will give us a test in their own right. So I think, you'll be going out to Spain, I believe, Dan. I'll be up in Costa del Barry watching the under-21s. But again, every challenge is different, and it's all about the minutes, all about seeing what we got, and new faces hopefully will come in. Some faces may leave, but Notts County, I think the away friendly to finish pre-season at Notts County would be the one where we start seeing a solid, 11/15, 16, whatever it may be that we will go with.
Yeah, mate, great stuff. Yeah, so, for anyone that is going to Spain, the Central Stand, myself, will be out there. So if you're there on the Wednesday game or you're there on the game on Saturday, please let me know if you would like an interview. So let's go through some comments before we jump into questions for Jamie. Mark Cox, evening all. Kyle Burston, Jamie smiled for me, beautiful. I am an Urin. Is Newport home or away? Do you know, Jim?
It's a funny one because it doesn't, even though it's not been announced. I saw something earlier on that on a Newport website, it said that they are playing Arsenal U21s at home, along with Exeter at home, before making the short trip along the M4 to Cardiff City Stadium. Now, again, that is to be confirmed, but that website, whether they've jumped the gun a bit with that, I don't know. Whether there's going to be, because we haven't played someone so close in years, the way we play Swansea, for example, then you'd imagine there'll be some restrictive measures enforced by the police and what have you, because you never know what could happen. But yeah, it seems to be, I think, Newport say it, feeling anyway, that it's going to be at the Cardiff City Stadium, which leads us then to be playing Exeter away.
Yeah, nice.
It'll be interesting. I think Exeter away 2 times now.
Nice one, nice. Going on to Welshie, lots of lads on Twitch and TikTok stream having a watch along up the Bluebirds up the stand. Oh, I think your signal's going a bit, mate. I think we're having a technical error, but I'll
Sorry,
read some more comments.
I'm lagging. It is, I think.
Newport at
I
is
got
at
you, Dan. Don't
home.
worry. Go on.
Re7 will be there. I'm
Sorry,
Nurkin. No, that's right, mate. All good. John Christopher, Kim's behind closed doors. Lee Happens will be playing Arsenal under-21s at home. And then Kyle Burson said, Jamie, your signal isn't too great, dude. So, yeah, let me try and see if I can alter something here, Jim, to make the signal a lot better
No,
for you,
sorry.
mate. 2 seconds,
I
everybody.
pay enough for my broadband.
No, it's all good.
Right
Right then, let's go on
I've
then,
changed my
Jim.
video resolution. It might be the fact that it's just... Yeah.
Apparently, Jordan said it's the background, Jamie got it will lag, apparently. So I don't know if that will help if you change the background. I don't know.
Probably.
Right then, let's go on to question 1 then. Which preseason game do you reckon will be the biggest buzz, Jim?
Probably Notts County. Closest one to the season. Starting. Probably the fact that I think a lot of people haven't been there. We'll probably take good numbers up there. Yeah, and I think it'd be quite a competitive game. So I think that'll be the biggest one. And I think we'll probably see a number of signings if we make any there. There. That's correct, Lee. It's the first time I've stuttered for someone who normally talks a lot. So yeah.
But yeah, right then, going on to the next question for you, Jim. How important is that Spanish camp vibe to build chemistry and confidence?
Massive, isn't it? At the minute we've kept the nucleus of players because obviously we haven't sold anybody or gone out on loan. So the vast majority of last year's team are there, bar obviously the out of contractees that they've left. So they know each other. They know each other's games. So you'd look at that and go, it's not a complete rebuild. So it's not as if you're going to have to do loads of teamwork, team exercise or whatever. I just think that you need to... Big thing for me is fitness. It really is fitness. I think last year we suffered. I think a bit of times we looked a bit leggy. We looked a bit like we had no real sort of physicality to us. So I think we've seen snippets of videos today, albeit day 4, day 3 of preseason, that they're now on the grass running with the ball and stuff like that. So I expect that to be ramped up. But yeah, it's massive because listen, fans are going over there like yourself. They'll want to see players appreciating their sport. They'll want to see, goals. They'll want to see some sort of way of playing that Brian Barry Murphy and Lee Riley have implemented to the team.
Yeah, I think what's nice about the videos, you have seen a lot of youngsters in the squad training. So that's really exciting. But yeah, going on to my next question, which lines with that one. Any young guns or new signings you're already hyped about? I know maybe all right we haven't had any signings, but do you think there might be any youngsters or signings we think are coming, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine at some point they will try and get their own people. I think, like Kyle's saying here about like a leader and things like that. We definitely need a different criteria of players, because ultimately we went down for a reason. Another comment there from Jonathan where Robinson and O'Dowd didn't appear in the videos. Now, obviously, they are edited by the media team to fit, however they need to fit. For example, we haven't seen certain members of staff, which will probably really be released soon. But I think youngsters wise, returning the likes of Joel Cole and Eli King, it's their chance now, isn't it? We're crying out for probably a number 6 who can really change the way we play, dominate physically. So I'd like to see them too. Internally, what we already had, Tans Nyakua looks sharp, looks hungry. I loved watching him for the 21s last year. I think he's raw. He can offer us something. And Dylan Lawler, I think, again, Dylan Lawler is somebody we know who's capable of things. He's probably one of our best young centre halves since coming through, since the likes of, the Gabadons and stuff like that. I think someone said the other day. So, listen, I know pressure is a big thing for them, but if there's an opportunity, I'm sure they'll take it with both hands.
Yeah, perfect, mate. Yeah, do you think then, talking about that then, do you think we're going to be hearing some news soon about the players that are going out on loan, Jim, or?
Yeah, I believe CCSC Insider had mentioned in a few tweets this today and the last few days that somebody was going out. As Connor said there, Simic's going out on loan. Simic is one person that we're led to believe has yet not turned up, or say not turned up, is not training as yet. And obviously there was the rumour of him from the Croatian newspapers that he may be looking at going there, but that's subsequently changed. Apparently he would prefer a move to Germany. That's up to him. He didn't feature last year for whatever reason. He was bought in for what we were led to believe was £2 million. All right, that's not going to be paid, straight away. But if we've all said, I think if there's players who have any doubts about being here or believe that they may be better than this, please, try and work your magic and replace yourself with somebody that is going to give their all for the club, because that's what we need. We need everybody involved to be fully involved and giving their all for the badge, because otherwise for the fans, because I know the badge is not like it was last year. Because otherwise, I always say a negative mentality replicates in a performance. And I think last year at times our mentality was not good enough.
Yeah, I think, bro, I hope like he's had a really good look at them now and have a real good clear out, to be honest, because we don't want one or two players in our squad weren't really okay. They were playing the game or whatever, but I didn't really feel like I could connect with them on a fan to player level like you normally can with players in the past. But it's difficult one, isn't it? Because we're going into a league that I don't know nothing about, because I was young. Well, we're talking about 21 years and 29, so I was like really young at the time. But it's exciting. It's most probably I know everyone's talking about this being a League One tour and just a bit of fun till we go back up. But I think we really need to not think, because we come from the Championship now, we're just gonna smash everyone, because you look at the likes of Wrexham, they didn't have a fun time in this league either, so it really goes down to the right management, the right players, making sure the players are playing in the right roles, not like playing in the wrong roles like last year, which we've seen. But I think it's really important that we get the infrastructure right, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah, I
But
think that's the key thing there. Infrastructure. Don't just chuck youngsters in because you want to tick a box because you think that's what fans want. It has to be the right time. It can't be detrimental to the team that we have. I I think again, last year is last year for a reason. Negative results bring probably bad mentalities and lack of confidence. This year, we need to change that. We need to be at it from minute one. And I'm pretty sure that, like I said before, that Barry Murphy will have his own set of standards. He will have things that he's probably drumming into the players, which are, you know, he's come from an environment which is of high standards. He'll want that similar at Cardiff City, because at the end of the day, I think maybe that's what's been lacking over the years. But it's a long season. We've got extra games now. We've got 3 extra games minimum in Vertu Trophy. So yeah, it'll be a long, chaotic season, I'm sure.
Yeah. Going on to the next question, do closed door friendlies ever worry you, or are they the perfect tactical playground, do you think?
Yeah, I don't make too much of it. Listen, at the end of the day, is whether the friendly's in person or not, this is probably going to be the same thing anyway. I think behind closed doors as well, I suppose there's a costing aspect maybe that comes into it. You've got to have stewarding and stuff like that. If our pitches, I think our pitch has been like returfed, or they've done their work as every ground staff do. I'm not too sure about Leckwith, if they've done that. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm not bothered. We'll probably find out after the game's done or later on in the evening, a little match report or what have you, and so be it. We're not judged on pre-season behind closed doors games, are we?
Yeah, I get you, mate. Because you go on, like last year, we were winning them all, weren't we? And then when this season began, we started losing them all. So, But going on then, to segment 2, the big bang starts. August hits like a thunderclap. 6 fixtures, no breathing room. The lights go on at the CCS with Peterborough at home on August the 2nd, live on Sky. The pressure cooker starts boiling, and we've got tough trips like Port Vale and Luton squeezed between home clashes. It's the opening where points count as much as attitude. How do you think we'll handle that heat, Jamie?
I think you've got to hit the ground running. I said to people earlier on, I said, I'm not under the illusion that any game is easy. Is ultimately when you look at Peterborough are one of those sides that they've got a good business model. They bring through players, talented players from lower leagues and stuff like that, and then they somehow make money from them because they grow. It won't be easy. Darren Ferguson, I was listening to his interview earlier on about his reaction to the fixtures, and he'd said they were the best fixtures they could ask for, because if they win those games, because they've got 2 recently relegated championship sides, it gives them extra confidence. They won't come here and first game of the season expect to sit back. No team is going to be fluent and at it for the first couple of games anyway. I don't think we can have another arrow bullet start, if that makes sense, because the pressure will get each loss or each lack of results. It'll start cranking up a little bit for Barry Murphy, and that's something that we don't want as fans. But naturally, when you're not picking up results, the outside noise starts getting louder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know, like the first game, I think it's going to be such a big, one of the biggest games then, I should say, because, a lot of players that were in that squad, the first game we played last season, it's going to get in their heads. Oh my God, we've got to make sure. So do you feel like, the opening game, do you think it's a dream stage or a pressure overload, mate?
No, I think I think a lot of the players wanted a home game anyway. Nothing better than playing in front of your fans live on Sky. There'll be an atmosphere there. There'll be excited fans, and there'll be some noise from their fans as well, because they'll make good numbers. It'd be interesting to see how it works and what team we will look like against Peterborough, because again, we're going to probably dominate the ball this year, because of sides will probably sit back a bit more. So it's going to be different challenges, and if we can't deal with that pressure, then sides will just pick us off. Peterborough live in Sky, we've got a decent record against Peterborough at home. let's hope that continues. And then, like I said, each little block, then each little game we tick off, hopefully with a win, and we just keep climbing.
Yeah, what are you most excited about on the first day back in the stadium, Jim? What's the most thing you're looking forward to? Like waking up, what's the first thing you're gonna be doing on that day, bro?
I don't know, Dan. I think there's a lot of things to choose about. My next door neighbour is
Yeah, it's fine.
at 20 past 8. They're doing it, but it's all right. I think it's just getting back to in the match day routine and hopefully seeing this competitive game. This is a competitive game that we'll see Brian Barry Murphy judged on. What does his product on the pitch look like? How does he conduct himself? And that's the most exciting thing for me is just being in and around that environment, being in the stadium again. Hopefully it's rocking. Hopefully it's a nice sunny day, and yeah, just the match day environment. I am looking forward to see how Barry Murphy conducts himself on the sideline as well, because I think that's something that as fans we do look at. We do look at the management, the coaching team to see if they're one of the old school shirt and tie. If they're the old the track manager, are they heading and kicking every ball, or are they more reserved and kind of analysing things? So they're all little caveats that I'm looking forward to seeing on opening day.
Yeah, I think what'll be great as well, mate. I hope like he gives us our first cheer at the end of the game, getting those first 3 points. Because I think that would be a big momentum push. What do you think about that, James? Do you think it's a big statement winning the first game of the season? Do you think as the new manager?
100%. Any manager for him, especially when he's coming from Man City, is and obviously this little 6-month stint with Leicester is he wants to prove everybody wrong. There are doubters from any facet of the things, and we are a big club in that division, so there's going to be outside noise. I'm pretty sure that he'll look at it and go, "This is my club. This is my big opportunity now," and he will do what he can. And again, it's the old manager saying, isn't it? We take game by game, and I'm pretty sure he probably will look at that. But listen, Peterborough are a very good side, so they're not to be underestimated.
Yeah, mate. Leave here, my good mate. BBM needs time to take a good look who he wants, find out who he wants to go, and he'll go from there. I think I totally agree with you there, mate. Another question I'd like to ask you, James. Which fixture are you marking as a dangerous on the calendar?
Dangerous game. I don't know. I think every game can be dangerous if you don't set things the right way. If you go in with a wrong mentality, like you look at the second game, Port Vale away. Port Vale is quite a wide pitch. It's not going to be easy. And I mentioned to someone earlier on, our first 2 away games are against newly promoted sides who are on their ascendancy. They're all happy. They're all they're opposite to us, for example, because we've got unanswered questions where they're on a high. We haven't got no local games, so that's a good thing. But I just worry for us, like I said, is if we're not right with our attitude, then we will be found out, we will be exposed, and we could end up like certain clubs who unfortunately stayed in the League One longer than what they wanted to.
Yeah, I think it's a big worry for us all because you look at the likes of Luton now, they went from the Premier League to the Championship and then to the League One. It can happen to anyone, and that's what's so exciting and dramatic about football because you don't know, no one knows what's going to happen on the day. But talking about that, mate, 6 games in 4 weeks, what's the realistic target points-wise? What would you be expecting
I don't know. I
points-wise?
mean, 6 games. You'd hope for max. I know a lot of people said 18, but anything points record wise, you've got to be looking at least winning 75% of those games. We are a big club. Luton will be doing the same. Plymouth will be doing the same. If you don't win that, there becomes added pressure after the first 6 games. And again, outside noise can play a factor if you allow it to. But again, you got to. I've always said, win your home games, get at least a point away, and you'll have a good sort of record. You'll be getting a good momentum. But again, that's just me. I think we have to win the games. That's the thing, is we have to win the games because we're expected to. Our fans are very demanding because this is a position we haven't been in for years. And we will back the boys, of course we will. But there's only so much like we will that, like we said on previous shows, there's a fundamental that we expect, which is passion, determination, effort. If we don't see that, then I think a lot of people will probably, voice their concerns.
Yeah, I think what I'm hoping for, mate, I think, the youngsters, maybe a few of them are going to be coming out. Maybe it might be their first game. We don't know until you see the squad he puts out. But I hope to God, I'm hoping the youngsters give the people from last year a bit, at least a life. Like to blink, right, I'm actually lucky to be playing for this club. I'm lucky to be supported by, a massive fan base as Cardiff City. And the thing is, right, you want like instant, maybe that's why, he's coming in, because maybe putting these youngsters in the squad, you're going to have like these bigger brothers. And maybe from that, they might actually be leaders that we're crying out for. Do you know what I mean, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, I still think we need to sign, like Kyle and other people have said, they're probably an old school type of leader with those qualities. We've lost players like Joe Rowles and Aaron Ramsey, all these players without a massive experience. I'm not doubting for 1 second there aren't players with experience, but leadership qualities form in different ways. That whether that's somebody that's blood and thunder leading from the front with their actions, or whether that's somebody else that needs to verbally communicate throughout the game to help players. I mean, it's tough, isn't it? We've got a good nucleus and a good cluster of youngsters coming through. They will, I'd be expecting to see them in the Carabao Cup fixture straight away, if I'm honest. But they'll be knocking on the door and saying, with a manager that's got proven history with playing youngsters, why aren't we going to be playing? When can we play? And they're in their right entitlement to do that. So again, there's a fine line. We will be looking at the Soda and just to mention one, Callum Chambers, possibly if he's still around at the club, to almost be nurturing the younger players through games, and hopefully we see the fruits of that as opposed to looking around in the sky when things aren't going our way, which we saw probably too often last season.
Yeah, mate, perfect, mate. Right, going on some questions here. I think we will struggle massively away from home this season. Kyle, a lot of our players are used to playing on looked after pitches. League One pitches are different. Kyle Burst again. Jamie, do you think we will struggle with away grounds as in the pitch and atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain pitches that are probably going to be a bit more harder to play on, whether that's because they're bobbly, whether that's because they're different types of hybrid. When I went to watch Joel Colwell down in Exeter the day after we played Villa, the ball would bounce. The keeper would kick it and it would bounce over the midfield. So it's ultimately you've got to win that first point of contact, because if you don't, it's very hard. I think there's a lot of pitches which are cramped. I don't know the dimensions, but Mansfield away last game of the season. If you've got to go to Mansfield last game of the season, they've only got 3 stands. It's gonna be tough. And also, let's be brutally honest, the dark arts of the games. They're not going to be putting carpets on for us, do they?
No.
They're gonna the level playing fields. We've got to go back to our favourite place, that is Rotherham. That's not going to be easy, is it?
No, because it's like we talked about when we done the first podcast, innit? And we said doing the little months to put the cold water on, because you're gonna go to these places and they're not gonna make it welcoming as we do in the CCS, But yeah. So going on to my next segment now. So what we were just talking about, away days, the lifeblood, the heartbeat. Nothing beats packing a bag, jumping on a coach, and singing the city's pride at grounds far and wide. Away days are the soul of this club. That feeling of unity, miles from home, singing till you're hoarse and reminding everyone who we are. This season we head into places like Bradford, Stockport, Blackpool, and the season finale at Mansfield on May the 2nd. Jamie, what's the vibe and which away day are you counting down to, and what makes these trips so special for us?
Everyone says Blackpool. We were discussing it earlier on. Blackpool away was a good time last time we went there, under Sabri Lamouchi. I'm looking forward to the likes of Blackpool. We've got a lot of Bradford. We've got a lot of northern games. Port Vale be a good trip. I personally haven't been to some of these grounds, so it'd be nice to venture to those places. I think there's a lot of grounds where they're old school terraces, like like Exeter, which I'll look forward to going to, because there's nothing better than standing on a terrace with your mates. If you score, you all jump over and whatever, and into each other, and it's just pure jubilation. So you can't beat that feeling.
Yeah, mate. It's great because, like, I don't know how many times, last season, I think Sunderland, when we were all on the bus and the camaraderie, it's a great thing, especially for me because I wake up at God knows what time in the morning on some of the journeys. Like the last game of the season, I slept over Lee's house. And like we left, it was at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So, it's you against the world when you with these away days, and it's when you're there with a certain people and you're all there in the back where we normally stand, and you got the likes of Jonathan Wilkins getting us all amped up with his singing or going oh, and everyone doing this. It's moments like that you just feel like, wow, I'm part of something bigger than myself. Do you know what I mean? It's such a static feeling when you're standing in those away grounds, and it's this experience you can't explain because it's so euphoric, especially when you sing a Men of Arlick. I think I love you're a Men of Arlick at home, but when you've got about 1,000 Bluebirds in away end all singing the Men of Arlick or singing the Welsh national anthem, I think those are the moments that are my own time favourite. What about you, Jim?
Yeah, I prefer away games. That's generally because of atmosphere, just because the day around it, whether you're leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning on a train or a bus, getting home at 11, 12 o'clock at night, you're with, it's the old term, isn't it? The diehards, the fans that go away and whatever. But I think it's a different environment. We always know that, you've had a few beers or you've had a good laugh, you've had a good discussion. And no matter what's happened for 5 days of your week, on that Saturday morning when you get on that coach or whether you get on the train, you're just with people that you just feel you complete all your worries go away. You have a good laugh, and like you said, when we are at the games, Dan, we can list them off now. We've got Kyle, Connor, Lee, Johnny, just to name three. We've got my other half, Natalie. We've got Kelly. We've got Jordan. We've got so many of us, and then you just find that even though there's people that you don't necessarily know, or they might see your social media or whatever, they all of a sudden they come up to you, and it then becomes an external family. It becomes tight, and like you said, for 95 minutes, whatever it may be, it's you Bluebirds against everyone else.
Yeah.
And again, it's I don't think you can put a feeling on it, because there's no better feeling, if that makes sense, when you're in a ground celebrating the 93rd minute winner with randomers. It's brilliant. It's that's what makes football brilliant, I think.
I think the likes of like Mark and Viv, I can't wait to see. Like, it's like, especially hearing stories from like Mark and Viv about the old times, and oh mate, it's like so exciting. Like, I just can't wait to see you all. It's gonna be one for not to miss, I think, Jim. But going on, let's
I
read.
did mention
What
Morgan.
you are?
I did mention Morgan then, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I did. Connor's like, "Oh, I won't be happy with you." No, again, you're spot on, Dan. Sorry to interrupt. Like, again, new fans, old fans, returning fans, whatever it may be. We always say on this channel, you may have not experienced Cardiff City before. You might not know anything about Cardiff City, but when you leave a game, especially an away game, you will know something about Cardiff City, and you would have felt something about Cardiff City, good or bad. But you'll go away with an experience of Cardiff City, and I think that's what makes our club very unique.
Yeah, mate, great stuff. Go on. Well, she needs someone similar to James Milner. Got a lot of experience, can't do Prem, but can still put a shift in at our level. Be great for our dressing room. Great stuff. Jamie,
Yeah,
most of
good.
our players get injured at their own ground, including injury. Uh, including injury in the last Wales game at the CCS. Lee, totally agree. And then you got Welshie replying to Lee. Corner, Morgan won't be happy with you, Jamie. Kyle Burston, kill the Morgan tears.
He's a main, like I say, me and Morgan like brothers, and I think the good thing is for everybody now, like we said, is Dan is this fixture list. Like I said, we'll have a look at these fixtures now more in depth. It's no game is easy. Every game will be different. But it is kind of exciting in its own way because, like I said, we're not playing the same usual teams. We're playing different teams, and there are sides in this League One that are going for it. Like, just to touch upon Welsh's comment in regards to James Milner, Wrexham last year signed very experienced players, and that helped them get through it. The likes of Stephen Fletcher, and others, just to name him. There was a remit for them, and they eventually got it. Birmingham City had a bit of experience, had a good mix. So again, it depends on what the manager wants and he believes. But I do think we are. I mean, we've got Ryan Wintle returning. And I know he's like Marmite for certain people, but I hope he comes back in with a chip on his shoulder and says, I've got a point to prove. Because I think at this level, especially, he could be somebody that we could see a different Ryan Wintle almost of, because when he was at Crewe and places like that, he was brilliant.
Yeah, great stuff, mate. Right, so let's go on to the next segment then. December madness, chaos, and opportunity. 8 games in 4 weeks across Christmas and New Year. It's madness, it's magic, and it's a true test of grit. Boxing Day at the CCS against Exeter, then the hectic run of games before and after. It's the kind of schedule that makes or breaks season. The fans, the family, the cold nights. It's where legends get made or hopes fall apart. So, Jamie, how do you prepare mentally and physically for the brutal festive schedule?
I love it. I end up working. I end up working Christmas Day or Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in mental health. So I end up working in that. I don't mind that because I've always said I prefer Boxing Day, because it's a day of sport. It always has been for me, and I love it. Um, Luckily this year, I suppose we got Boxing Day home, which is nice, and then New Year's away, which is lovely. But you can't grumble, can you? It's like it's bang, 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 game, 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 and it's brilliant because sometimes waiting 7 days for a game can be really bloody long. It can be boring,
Mm,
especially if your life really evolves around that. To have game every 3 days, I personally love it. And again, sometimes at Christmas, you might have had a crap Christmas, but a couple of wins around it certainly help, and that might be a better present, to be fair.
yeah, mate. I think like I to be honest with, I love like having a game on a Saturday, Tuesday, maybe Friday, Sunday, and that's what's most exciting, mate, because like the beginning of the season we do have games, not well, few games with the championship last year. We had to wait a bit until they went Tuesday, Saturday. But no, mate, it's going to be exciting. Like it's no better feeling Christmas at time because the kids are excited. The whole aura of Christmas is just exciting, and the passion just amplifies, especially on Boxing Day when you're with your mates. That over the Christmas period, so you're real festive comes out and stuff. But yeah, going on, Jim. Boxing Day at home. What's the atmosphere like, and how big is that game gonna be, mate?
I think the atmosphere can be good, but obviously it depends on transport for certain people. I know the Valleys, to be fair, they run their own coaches and stuff, which is great because what public transport I think is pretty much shut down. Um, I just think that Boxing Day can be brilliant. We've got Exeter, so it's one of our closest teams as well. They will bring their numbers up. I think the Cardiff City Stadium genuinely bounces off the away fans as well, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Like it's the joys of football, isn't it? They give it, you give it back, and if we have say 100 fans coming down, and credit to them, there's not that same sort of banter and that bounce. And again, I think we are a product of what's on the pitch as well. Um, it's if the game is drab, naturally the fans are just like what can we get behind? And again, I know that sounds daft me saying that, but for the first 10, 15 minutes, the fans do as lot as they can. But if the players can't pass a ball 5 yards at times, it's very easy for a positive atmosphere to turn the opposite way, you know?
Yeah, just going on Kyle's comment there. Well, Christmas for me isn't great. Obviously, you know the reason, Jamie, but our little friend group always helps make Christmas much better. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, our little friend group, we all look after each other. You know, it's more than football sometimes, you know, and, you know, all us being together and enjoying football can take a lot of noise outside of football away for a lot of people. But going on, also Connor just said, if anything like last Boxing Day, we are cooked. I don't think you could get anything. I don't think you can get any worse than that Boxing Day, Jim. Could
Yeah.
you? It was one for the ages. I
No,
was.
a
I've
cramped
never
away end
seen.
and a terrible performance.
It just. It was just.
No,
I'm
it was
happy it's in the
horrible. It was
past now. We can
horrible.
just
Boxing
move
away.
on. Yeah. Going
Yeah,
on to the
I
next
agree.
segment now. The Carabao Cup midweek nights and magic moments. Who doesn't love a midweek cup night? The lights, the chatter, the chance for the kids and fringe players to shine. So so we are hosting Swindon in round one. We commence in August 11th. It's not just a trophy; it's a chance to build belief, show ambition, and bring the fans together. So BBM go to full throttle or use this to rotate, mate? Do you think?
I think he'll rotate. It won't be easy. Swindon, no mugs.
Mm,
Callum Chambers, that will possibly be, should I say, his first game of the season competitively, because obviously he's banned for the first game. Um,
yeah,
Listen, the big thing for me is Swindon will bring a good following. Can we match that atmosphere? No disrespect to the first two games we had in the Carabao last year. It felt very pre-season esque because we didn't open the Canton stand. We were in an Indian
yeah,
stand, so fans had to sit down, and the atmosphere felt really like. Well, it did feel quite boring, if that makes sense, because the away fans were literally next to us, singing, dancing, whatever, and we were almost told, and obviously because of the regulations, you've got to sit down. Whereas if we have a Canton stand and we're allowed to open that, at least it'll feel a bit more competitive as well, if that makes sense. There'd be a bit more atmosphere, there'd be a bit
yeah,
of blood and thunder to it, and yeah, if you're like I said, Manny Barton, Tans Nyakua, they're two electric wingers in their age grades. I'm sure they're knocking at the door again. I use that term a lot. I know knocking at the door. They probably, but they probably are asking the manager, "Can I play? Can I play in these sort of games?" Because that's what made Michael Reindorf last year. A few of those games like that. That's what gave the opportunity to some of the other youngsters to showcase what they are in men's football.
yeah. I think Michael Reindorf, mate. I had a real sweet spot for him, mate. As you know, I couldn't wait. The way he passed that ball off, he took like two players on, kept the ball, passed it to Ruben, and Ruben just scored that goal, mate. I swear to God, it was just back and forth with goals, and that's excitement you want. So if you imagine that's in the Camden stand and they at the away end, I think we need to put us in the Canton stand, like, so, because I think, like, if we got that freedom of not like worrying, oh my God, I can't get too excited here because I might get kicked out. And that's what I mean. I think we need that, to give them the full backing. And to be honest with you, mate, I don't think I can sit. I don't like sitting anywhere else but the Canton stand because that's my home. That's, the Canton stand is my religion. Then, if to say is, it's the most unique standing place ever. Like, I love it. It's like, especially when you've got the people around you normally, because when you're there for so many seasons, you get to know the people around you. Like Reese now, for instance, I've been sitting next to him all season. Me and him are going to Spain. And he said to me on the phone the other night, he said, I can't, from us sitting next to each other in the Canton, now we go into Spain together to Wednesday to Sunday. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I mean about the Canton. It's more than football because you make those friendships. Do you get what I mean, Jim? I think that's what we
Oh,
need in those type of games. Like, do you know what I mean? But
yeah, and
going
again,
on, mate. Go on, sorry, mate. Go on.
it's the cup. It's the
Sorry.
cup, isn't it? You know, if you're going to play youngsters, Dan, let them have what an experience it is, which is a passionate experience, a pressurized experience, everything that they will have to deal with in men's football. And like I said, is ultimately I love standing at the football. You want to voice your passion, didn't you? And again,
Mm,
I'm not having a dig here or whatever, but everyone is mixed in the same area in the Indian stand in the cup games. So at
yeah.
times it feels like if you have too much passion, maybe, or you act differently in that stand to whatever, wherever you may be normally, you're kind of asking for a bit of let's say a little bit of aggression back off somebody else. So when you don't want that, you just want to be blood and thunder, don't you? So to enjoy the game.
Yeah, mate. Great stuff. Kyle Burston, I'll play the clip back to you when we cooked on Boxing Day. I hope not, mate. Please don't. I don't want a repeat of last Boxing Day. What about you, Jim? I don't want a repeat.
No, please
Wayne
no.
Nash, what? Oh, sorry, mate. Wayne Nash won't have none of it. He'll never let it happen. Again, Wayne Nash broke is a disgrace. Needs sacking. Kelly Power, especially with the best as of friends. Absolutely agree with you there. And Kyle Burston, Danny protest, get a Nash out protest going. No
I,
comments.
listen, I think to be like to be on the wall there, I think there are genuine concerns or opinions from fans, and naturally at any football club there are people that are in the firing line for whatever that may be. I think fans just, again, at least let them have or feel that they have an opportunity to do something, and then they can make their decision on that. And at times, maybe just in general, football fans don't get the rub of a green or fair sort of choice as what, say, a rugby fan does. And that for me is where it comes down to: allow the fans to have that choice and then go from there.
Yeah, great stuff, mate. So going on to the next trophy, the Vertu Trophy, local battles and big chances. The Vertu Trophy might fly under the radar for some, but for us, it's local pride, giving young players a shot and maybe a trophy to bring back to the cabinet. Our group has Newport, Exeter and Arsenal under-21s, plenty to play for. Does Newport now feel like a derby to you, Jim? Because we thought we weren't going to get a derby this year.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I suppose you could look at it that way. It's our closest on the road.
Yeah.
10, 12 miles. It's going to be in it. So it's got to be. I'm sure they'll force it to be. I'm sure they will.
Yeah. What's your take on Arsenal under 21s in the group? Legit challenge or just a testing ground, do you think, Jim?
It'll be a challenge because I think, again, this Vertu Trophy to us is unknown. I suppose is
Yeah.
where we are now. Um, I'm led to believe you have to play a certain amount of senior players as well as youngsters. So, there's integrity there. That'll be a challenge. They're not an Arsenal 21 player for no reason. We've signed some
Yeah.
good players in the past from these academies. So, I mean, again, if we're not at it, they'll run rings around us. But again, I think that part of their development, I suppose, is that they then play away at these bigger clubs, these professional stadiums. So, again, if you can imagine Cardiff City playing Arsenal 21s at the Cardiff City Stadium on a Tuesday night, maybe we'll only have one
Never
stand
know.
open. Who knows?
Hopefully it'll be a lot more, to be honest, mate. But, do you think Brian Barry Murphy will know much about this trophy, do you think, Jim?
I think so. I mean, back in the day, he would have probably known it about, I don't know, whatever it was called then, probably the Johnson's paint or whatever it would have been. So he'd have known in some capacity what it would have been. But the problem is, I suppose, is balancing what I suppose is what's your objective for the season. If you play too many games, you then obviously run a risk of injuries and stuff. Imagine if we had, I don't know, a key player of ours go down against Arsenal because we played him when he's played 4 games in the space of 12 13 days. You ask yourself why.
Hmm.
So I think it's a fine balance and act, isn't it?
Yeah, so do you think he's going to go for the trophy, or do you think he's going to focus on development and testing certain players out, do you think, Jim?
I'd go for it. Why not? They're out of Wembley and whatever. I mean, it certainly didn't do Peterborough anything wrong. It didn't bother the Birmingham fans last year, did it? When they were in the final and they were on a cup run and what have you. So if you're in it, you've got to want to win it. What's the point being in it otherwise?
Yeah, great stuff, Jim. Let's go on to some comments here. Wayne Marsh doing Wayne Marsh things, turd of a bloke. Thank you very much for that comment, Connor. It's common knowledge that Nash says no to absolutely everything put forward. Connor, watching Atete against Arsenal's 21st Saturday in the stand. I can't wait. Cymru Wales away days, sod all these cups. You got a season that feels like one big Carabao Cup round one draw. The league is all that, mate. Think about that, Chip.
No, again, it could be like that. I mean, we're not playing the likes of Southamptons and these, let's say, bigger clubs. We're playing clubs that have come up from League Two and are established League One clubs in their own rights. But again, that's because we are where we are, because we deserve to be where we are. Unfortunately, like I said, one positive finish in the last 4 seasons. Unfortunately, it's going to bite you in the backside. And last year, unfortunately, our number was called and we finished rock bottom for a reason.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. Right then, guys, I think that's it. What I'm going to do now, mate, I'm going to go through the fixtures. For anyone who's not seen them or heard of them. Right, so League One, Peterborough United, the 2nd of August at home. 9th of August, Port Vale away. 16th of August, Rotherham United home. 19th of August, AFC Wimbledon. 23rd of August, Luton Town away. And then 30th of August, Plymouth Argyle home. So everyone, thank you for joining us for a special breakdown. And Jamie, thank you for giving us your time, mate. And I can't wait to see you soon, mate. I can't wait. Are you excited?
You shall.
But yeah, thank you for everyone joining us.
Yeah, mate, football's back.
Yeah, it's back with a brand new track, I think. But yeah, going on the last one then. What do you think we're gonna finish this league? Where do you think we're gonna be on the league table?
Top 8.
Yeah.
I'm going to go bold. Top 8. I think we should be. Yeah, listen. Before the ball's kicked, we have many talented players that, again, I know it's the old saying, on paper they should be doing well. Alex Robertson bossed this league for Portsmouth. That's what got him, on our radar. We should be pushing for that. If we don't, anything, it's going to be construed as I would say, a negative season.
Well, just hope we don't get relegated, Jim. That's the aim this season. Just don't get relegated, And I think whatever happens, mate, we're going to be there with a little pick and shovel. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see everyone. It's going to be emotional. But yeah, thank you very much, Jamie Anderson, the legend. Yeah, we'll see you at the stands. Thank you, everyone.